Most people don't realize you can make cheese shelf stable. This is how. Instead of it going bad in your fridge, you can turn it into something that lasts way longer and is easy to store. And it's not just for storage, you can actually use it in a bunch of different ways. I'll show you exactly how I do it so it turns out right. Okay. I am so excited for our dehydrating project today. We are going to be dehydrating cheese. I've got pepper jack, a little less than 2 pound blocks of pepper jack and a little less than 2 pounds of cheddar, mild cheddar cheese. These are cheeses that we use a lot. I really like this brand. They have nice firm cheese, especially the mild cheese is nice and firm. The pepper jack is firm. Some pepper jacks are so soft, but this is like such a great texture to one, and I like the level of spice and heat in the cheese itself. I have seen a few different people on YouTube here dehydrating cheese. And as you know, I've been doing a lot of dehydrating and there's a lot of reasons for that. First of all, it's a great way to put up food and it's so low maintenance because you don't have to do much to it. It's really hands-off. It doesn't need to be frozen. It does not need to stay room temperature. It's just great. And the size gets reduced so much that it doesn't take up a lot of space. It's so convenient. Okay, so I'll talk through some of the things that I learned from other people doing this. From what I understand, there's not a lot of people who have videos out like this. So I'm just gonna be trying to go through the process to add just a little bit more as a resource for people who might wanna see the process as well. So I'm gonna do that and then I'll talk through some of the things as I'm preparing this. We're gonna go ahead and shred up this cheese and I'm gonna do it in my food processor. If you do not have one of these, this is an amazing investment. I blew through food processors. I blew through at least several until I got this one, this particular model. I even blew through a Cuisinart a while ago, but this one I have had for at least 12 years, I wanna say. And I can't even tell you, you're gonna see it a lot in the videos and you probably have already seen it a lot. So we're gonna use the shredding and here's why. I heard that if you use some of these type shredders or even other kind of circular grind ones, they tend to curl the cheese as you shred. When I was watching those videos, I was thinking, okay, well, I could use my food processor because A, it's so fast, and B, these holes, if you can see, they're a pretty good diameter. Whereas these will curl because they're a lot flatter. These are a lot more rounded. So they create more of like a tube effect. So I think we'll have less curling of the cheese when we get it into the dehydrator. When you buy cheese, it needs to be refrigerated or frozen. And so being able to have it dehydrated just allows us to have a little bit more time. And I got these on sale, which is just crazy. Like, first of all, this is random weight cheese. So this is cheese that is not like 8 exact ounces, 1 pound exactly, the way that a lot of standard cheese is sold. But in general, this random weight cheese is a pretty good deal anyway. And I mean, it's the same exact cheese that they sell. It's just sort of like the end of a block or, you know, these other things. Maybe the factory had an issue with the scale. And so they had to sell it, you know, they sold it to the store at a discount because they couldn't sell it in their regular, you know, with the regular products. So it's a great way to save money on cheese anyway, I've noticed, for the exact same product. Let's go ahead and get the cheddar shredded first. I don't know exactly how much cheese my whole dehydrator will fill. And as soon as I get some, we'll start loading the trays and we'll take a look at it. Now I know some people who have dehydrated cheese have done cheese that's already shredded, but the whole reason why I buy block cheese is because I don't want anti-caking agents, mold inhibitors, and those types of things in my cheese. Okay, so that looks pretty good. And you can tell, see, it's pretty flat. I think this is gonna be fine. And doing it that direction will be fine. So we don't have a lot of curling, which is good. Something that I was thinking I need to be mindful of based on some of the other videos I saw. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get this in this bowl here. Now, when I think about why I would dehydrate cheese, you either need to keep it in the freezer or the fridge, but if you have it dehydrated, it gives you a little bit more time. And if you get a good deal on cheese, maybe you could store it long enough to be able to get to the next time it's on sale. and just keep, you know, being able to buy good quality food at a lower cost than otherwise. In terms of storage, it is recommended to use this type of thing up within a year if you store it really well. Otherwise, 4 to 6 months is sort of the timeline that you should try to consume it within. This is not really meant to be a super long-term storage solution the way that you could if it was like a freeze-dried product or something like that. If you make homemade chicken nuggets, which I'm going to show how I make mine pretty soon, and it's such a quick and easy recipe, and it's the food processor that is the key to being able to make them. I will certainly link this food processor because it is so tried and true for my kitchen, and I really, really, really love it. So I will link that. Also, the food dehydrator in the description in case you want to look at them or compare to other, or you can compare them to other tools that you might have seen to help make all these kitchen projects easier. You can use it after you've roasted vegetables, just right on top as like a seasoning. You can use it on popcorn. I'm not gonna shred any more cheese right now. We're gonna take a look at the dehydrator, and I'm gonna explain a couple things that we're doing that's different about dehydrating something like cheese. And then we'll come back and we'll start loading the trays and see if we have enough cheese. So for my dehydrator, I have cloth on here. This is some spare cloth that I had, and I just sort of did a rough cut to be able to fit these trays. I did a hand wash, and then I just laid them wet in here, started my dehydrator, and they dried up beautifully. The reason that we use something like this is to absorb oil from the cheese, because that will start to be excreted as the cheese dries down. I have seen people use paper towel. I've seen people use fabric. Honestly, I'm kind of tempted to put paper towel under my fabric. It's very thin and I don't have enough to do 2 layers. So that's really the only main difference, is we want to make sure that we're dealing with the oil that comes off of this, because it's not just moisture, but it's also the oil, which incidentally is also why this is not recommended for longer term storage. Okay, I did a quick little cleanup. These paper towels fit this so well. I had to do a lot of painstaking little cuts to get this fabric to fit, and here this paper towel is so fitting. Okay, I want to make sure that we get enough oil out of the cheese, so I'm going to double this up and just see how it goes. A couple other things that I was thinking I wanted to mention that sounded so like perfect for a cheese product like this is putting in mashed potatoes. You can add the pepper jack for a little kick, the cheddar cheese just right on in. I don't want to layer this too thick, so I'm trying to make sure it's not too crazy. I want to make sure that everything kind of has an opportunity to get relatively close to being able to see the fabric through a little bit, I think is probably going to be a good balance. I'm gonna go through, get all these trays filled, and then what I'm probably gonna end up doing is dehydrating this really low. I have seen people doing it a little higher, like similar to what I do for vegetables, around 125 degrees. One gal who I saw do it, who I've really been enjoying watching her dehydrating videos. She has the channel Tales from an Empty Nest. I don't quite know her name yet because I haven't probably heard it enough, but she did hers at about 95 degrees, I wanna say. So quite low. And I think that's what I'm gonna do. And I think it'll probably be just fine because hers seem to turn out really, really good. If I end up doing this more, if this is a success, I'm probably gonna end up making some better sheets, maybe double thickness, and then make a nice edge, whereas these are just sort of like a raw edge. But I would like to have dehydrating cheese dedicated fabric, and that's all I'll use it for because it's gonna stain from everything I've seen. Okay, I can get easily 2 trays from one of those blocks. I'm gonna shred up a 3rd block and we'll call it good. I'm gonna stop talking, speed this up, and we will see you hopefully when we have dehydrated cheese. Today is the next morning and we've got dehydrated cheese. It's a really good thing I did both layers here. This fabric is completely saturated, as are the paper towels, and then this is even greasy too. A person could do a lot more layers than this. So that's definitely something that I think I should look at, how to maximize what we can absorb just based on the trays alone. But it tastes good, it's crunchy. I'm gonna go ahead and get all these trays emptied. We're going to powder this up. I think that this turned out really good. A couple of things. I think that the pepper jack turned out better because it may have been a little less oily, and so it was able to powder more. If you could see, when I put in a smaller batch into the mixer, it was a lot lighter and was able to get kicked around, which means it's going to be powdering more. So this is much more of a powder. This is definitely a powder, but when you take a little sample of it, there are little granules in there. But I honestly think it's just gonna be just fine. I think this is really successful, and I'm excited to try it. If you have an opportunity to dehydrate cheese, or you are looking at getting a dehydrator because you want to see what you can do with it, how it can help you save money, this is definitely one of those things that it can help you with. So far, from everything I can tell, this definitely exceeded my expectations, just the whole process. I checked on it a lot. I checked on these things in the dehydrator a lot more than I normally do for dehydrating. And you know, it's something that was different. It had this oil component. It was just really interesting to see it dry down. But when everything is said and done, this is looking so awesome.